Hello there, guys, and welcome back to my channel for my live reaction and player ratings live stream following Manchester City 3, Chelsea 1. And I am fuming. Once again, I am absolutely livid. We have the worst goalkeeper that football has ever seen. What on earth is he doing? Noni Madueke thinks he scores a goal after 2 minutes and he doesn't need to do anything after that. I am absolutely livid. Like, why do we need to keep to be like this? Like, we get the perfect start. We get gifted the perfect start by Manchester City starting their new young Uzbekistani, however you say it, centre-back Khusanov. He makes two such big mistakes in the first few minutes. We capitalize. Jackson steals the ball, lays it over to Madueke. Even messes that up, to be honest. Madueke thankfully puts it in. And then we have that second chance. Chalobah plays it through to Palmer. Palmer then doesn't go on his own. No idea why. Doesn't go on his own. Tries to square it to Jackson. Messes up the square. Jackson doesn't believe in his left foot. Doesn't hit it. Takes it back. Passes it back to Sanchez. Shot gets blocked. And then after that, we were absolutely diabolical. And we were screaming and begging and asking to get absolutely slapped around. That's what we were doing today. We were screaming for it. Man City did very well. I'm not sure if 100% if they made a change after the first 20 minutes or if whatever their plans were just started to work better. But having Gvardiol so high up the pitch, pushing Noni Madueke back, forcing Marmoush, forcing Reece James to come inside, but making Gundogan drag Caicedo away from that area, and then they're having that huge gap constantly, all game long, having that gap to exploit an attack. And honestly, in the first half, they scored the equalizer late before halftime. Late. But my God, were we begging for it? Like, it could have easily been 3-1, 3 or 4-1 for City at halftime. Sure, it could have been 2-0 as well. But after that, before even halftime, they had easily chances to score 3 goals. Easily. And then the second half, I mean, Jackson is awful, right? Jackson was terrible. Absolutely terrible today. But how bad does Nkunku have to be that Jackson has an awful day? Nkunku comes on and is so infinitely worse. Like, it's like he wasn't even there. Like, he's complete useless. He's a complete waste of time and space. And I assume that Maresca got annoyed with Jackson and was like, okay, we need to try something different. He's just not having a good day. But my God, that other solution just made it even worse. It just made it even worse. Joel is saying this is really disappointing. Why couldn't you come on? I don't know. Would it have been better though? I doubt it. Nkunku did nothing. We need a striker. We do. Sell Sanchez now. Man Strike says absolutely. Get Sanchez out now. Like Daniel says, zero progress, says Shaq. Areola already calls for different managers. Worst game management ever. Clearlake out. Maresca out. Winstanley out. Stewart out. When will people learn that we're not that good? We still haven't beaten a good top 6 team. So either you make it top 5 or you don't go with this, because we did beat this top 6 team. You got to say a good top 6 team. But there you go. How do we actually get worse the further into the season we go? We saw more improvement on the pitch towards the tail end. Yeah, because we're not at the tail end yet. This is kind of what you expect in the middle of a season when you play the way we do. It was kind of to be seen coming in principle. But the way we played today was just, I don't know. I can't even really put my finger on it. We played a bit of a weird formation where it was sometimes Reece James pushing into midfield and sometimes Correa. It was not 100% clear to me. If it was clear to other people, please tell me. But for me, it was just infuriating because, I mean, realistically, even in the first 20 minutes, we were a little bit better. Or when we were decent and obviously put them under pressure and they were suffering from their own errors. We were only really making chances happen when we stole the ball from them high up the pitch with our press and they made mistakes. In terms of actually creating, there was very, very little going on. Very, very little going on. You know what I mean? And it's just really, really disappointing. That's what it is. It's just really, really disappointing. Joel says, with the worst striker in the league too, even Chris Wood would walk into this team and do more. I mean, we definitely don't have the worst striker in the league, but I get the frustration. End of the season, they won't even win the Conference League with this attitude. Literally. We need to be careful of that, especially because the team we're taking apart at the moment with players that we're trying to sell, even though we're failing to do so, like, for example, with Renato Vega, is that Conference League team. Like, what are we going to do by the end of the season? Play the bad players in the Conference League and in the Premier League and the good players in the Conference League? Are we going to play the good players in both and get even more injuries towards the end? My God. But yeah, we do have the worst keeper in the league. And I'll tell you one thing, and I said it at the time already, Kepa is a better goalkeeper than Robert Sanchez. Kepa Arrizabalaga is not even close. a better goalkeeper than Robert Sanchez. I said it the day we signed Robert Sanchez, and I will stick to it until now, and continuing moving forward. He should never play for the football club again. He never ever should he play for us again. But is it surprising that he's playing? Is it surprising? No. What do we make of the fact that Jurgensen isn't getting a chance? I don't know. Does it mean that Jurgensen is actually worse and the manager sees it and that's why he has to stick with Sanchez? Is that it? Is there power from higher up, whether it's Ben Roberts or the sporting directors, that mean Sanchez has to play? Why are we not doing anything about it? Like, why? We've known for a long time that we need a goalkeeper. Then we signed Jurgensen, who, well, isn't even getting a real chance. But also, even for him, we knew and know he's not good enough. It's a joke. Like, we have so many keepers on our books. We spent so many millions on goalkeepers, from Jurgensen to Sanchez to Penders to a couple of others that we signed. It's just a complete waste of time and space. And then, Noni, man. First he plays them all on side. Then he doesn't track Gvardiol just because he's a lazy twat. And oh my God. I mean, Ricky says we really could have had an unreal manager in Flick. No. Don't be coming with me up Flick, bro. Trust me, it would be even worse under Flick, in my opinion. JP says, I'm Maresca out until he drops Sanchez. As soon as he does that, I'll be back to Maresca in. There you go. Karan says, Jackson and Sanchez are absolute garbage. Jackson apparently can't do shit with his weaker foot. Any other decent striker would have dived and scored that chance in the first half. Yeah, probably. And it's really disappointing how little trust he had in his foot in that moment. Probably partly the fans' fault because they criticize him whenever he does anything wrong. And yeah, he was absolutely awful today. And to be honest, I also felt that he should come off. But I questioned instantly when I saw Nkunku was the guy replacing him. Is it going to go any better now? I doubted it. I mean, we didn't have João Felix on the bench because he had a family emergency or something happened within his family. So he was allowed to travel home, given compassionate leave by Chelsea. So he wasn't a different option. But would I have preferred João Felix up front? Probably wouldn't have done more than Nkunku, that's for sure. Well, probably would have done more than Nkunku, but would he have done more than Jackson? Probably not. Madueke and Jackson are not Chelsea level. I knew it from the beginning. With Sanchez, Madueke, and Jackson, we will never get anywhere. Our front line, if Palmer has an off day, it's utterly toothless and rubbish. And yeah, that's what we have been. That's absolutely what we have been. I'm sure I missed plenty of other messages. Let me see if I see a bit more. Tobe says, I would recall Kepa. Sanchez is dog poo. He really is sick and tired, bro. I am so sick and tired. Robert Sanchez and this team at the moment is causing severe depression. And the weird thing is, I was going into this game not particularly expecting a lot. I was not confident going into the game. Was it fair? Was it not? Debatable, I suppose. But I was not really confident going into the game. Maybe it's just because it's City, even though they were in obviously bad form. But I don't know. I never have a good feeling going to these lot. We haven't beaten them in any competition since the Champions League final. I think the commentator said City are unbeaten against us in 11 or 14? Like, it's a joke. And only, I think 11. And only 2 of them, they didn't win. So 9 wins, 2 draws, and 0 losses for Man City against us in the last 11. It's a joke. Worst Chelsea performance of your lifetime. It's probably a bit of a stretch, that, bro. But there you go. Maresca out. Why does he keep starting Sanchez and Jackson? That's funny. Why does he keep starting to Jackson and then you see who comes on instead of Jackson? Well, that's why. That was your answer there. Noni's Hudson-Odoi from the ends. Hello, mid. Hello, mid. Yeah, there you go. One last chance for Maresca for me, to be honest. Show some balls, drop Sanchez. Show that neither keeper is good enough and force the sport directors to sign a new one. See, the thing is, I don't even know if Maresca has the power to be allowed to do that. I'm genuinely don't know. This is the thing. Maresca has defended Sanchez a lot. Now, he's the other day in the after the embargo part of the press conference, he's finally said something in terms of, he's definitely number 1 for this season. Next season, we'll see type thing. He's still far away from what I want him to be. So hope for a new goalie for next season, but they're not doing it now. They're just not doing it now. Will we ever sign a striker? I don't know. Who still plays Sanchez? I wish Petr Cech is our goalkeeper coach. I don't think Petr Cech could be saving Robert Sanchez either. The only time we're seeing Nkunku active is when there is a foul. He's just strolling on the pitch, 100%. We stopped playing after scoring negative, confusing football. We just stopped doing anything useful. The first half was an issue and we were struggling to beat their press, right? But we had still our moments where we tried to attack. Sure, we lost the ball. But I swear the second half, especially after we went 2-1 down, we were dead. We were absolutely dead. There was nothing there. Bournemouth manager runs rings around Maresca. Maresca is a yes man, maybe, but any non-yes man wouldn't have the job. That's kind of the problem. Areola will cook with this squad, maybe. Maybe. Hi, Laos. Do you think we can make top 10 this season with this form, top 4 for another season? I mean, that was another thing for Maresca today, that the plan, the expectation from the club is supposedly top 4 for next season. I'm like, this is a disgrace. What are the standards here? I still believe that we will and can get top 4 this season, or at the very least fifth making Champions League football. I'm still confident enough of that. And sure, today's disappointing. 100% is disappointing. I felt also that you could tell that we played with too many players that aren't 100% fit. Enzo Fernandez didn't look 100% fit. Cole Palmer still doesn't feel 100% fit to me. I'm not sure about Reece James. There was moments where it was great. There was moments where he was being really weird. Therefore, sounds like he's had a chat with the sporting directors regarding goalkeeper. Maybe they want to see Penders and Petrovic in pre-season and go from there. I mean, bro, Petrovic isn't going to learn how to pass with his foot in his mid-20s. Like, he's not 19. You know, he's not going to become a good passer all of a sudden. It's not going to happen. What is even more annoying is this isn't even a City team that's very good either. No, it isn't. And to be honest, Marmoush looks like a player. Can't even debate it. But, you know, no John Stones, Nathan Ake, where he's necessarily would have always started or not, debate maybe. Obviously, no Rodri. Kevin De Bruyne that didn't start, probably chosen not to start because of energy, but still. It's a joke. Maresca definitely to blame today. He should have dropped Sanchez before the game. He's made 5 errors now leading to goals. Honestly, I would argue 6 because I think the first goal is also his error. Noni and his error, but both make the mistake for that goal in my opinion. I think it's easy to say Maresca is definitely to blame today. Should have dropped Sanchez. Again, I'm still not sure if he has the power to even do so. And I also don't know if necessarily there's so many less mistakes if it's Jurgensen in goal. Garnacho is not the answer. Striker is the answer. Chances are striker isn't the answer either. But yeah, I mean, Garnacho certainly isn't. That's for sure. Jay says, we all knew he was going to be a yes man. Anyone who defies the owners gets sacked. Exactly. It's on Maresca now. Can only blame Sanchez and Noni for so much, but he keeps playing them. There is something genuinely wrong behind the scenes, and Maresca at this point must be forced to play Sanchez. That's what I'm thinking. Madueke stealing a living. There you go. And Maresca keeps praising him as well. Says he's a top player and wants more from him and this and that. But just doesn't do it. Jackson can't finish a sentence, let alone a chance. He really can't. If Sanchez is Maresca's number 1, then why we spend 25 million on a second choice goalkeeper? I don't care, bro. If we don't drop him, I don't expect top 4. I mean, yeah, it's a good question, but you know, 25 million pounds for a player nowadays isn't exactly a lot, and you're not going to get 25 million. You're not going to get a starting goalkeeper of our level for 25 million. You're just not going to, are you? And that's probably partly why he's not playing. And you can also tell it with Robert Sanchez because he cost also what, roughly the same, around 25 million, but it was euros or pounds, and he's just equally as shocking. And it's just really bad. You won't take 4th place. There's no chance. Who's he? We, sorry. But I think there is a chance because I think we're just a bit bad at the moment. We're often in many seasons in the past we've been bad around this time of the year. I know we beat Wolves, but it doesn't mean you're fully out of the woods. We look at Tottenham with that high line. Yeah, no, we're not saying that, Uzaya, please. Like, come on now. This is not bloody what's his face, Elon Musk country. Absolutely not. Hi, Laurenz. Here to support and for the Roberto slander. He is garbage. Well, thank you, Big K, for showing support. And for the Robert slander, we will get to it in just a minute. I'm just trying to get to all of your initial thoughts first and foremost. We have over 100 people watching. Make sure you subscribe. That would be massively appreciated. It really means a lot to me. Please subscribe. Hit that like button for me as well. Let's get to at least 50 likes immediately. We're already on 14, so let's get to at least 50 instantly and we'll go from there. JC says, won't be watching any Chelsea game till Sanchez is out of our club or injured for 7 seasons. How long do you think Maresca has left? A while. I think he most certainly makes it to the summer. Whether he makes it past the summer will depend on how it goes from now until then. Maya says, Seshko. I mean, Seshko also has his issues. Trust me, man. They all do. We need a new goalkeeper and a decent striker, and guess what our target is? Another flipping winger. Yep. That's exactly what it is. Karan, you know, Chelsea are a joke club. The day Chelsea decide to get involved with Garnacho, they are just taking a piss at this point. They are. Why didn't he tell the players to go at City, especially in the first half? Regardless of the player's age, we should be finishing in the top 4 with this squad. We 100% should. Sack Maresca now. Still have a chance. This will not happen. These owners hit Chelsea with a COD sniper shot, headshot. They did. I mean, bloody hell. I mean, let me show up the lineup, right? In terms of how I kind of saw it, because there was parts where James was the right centre-back, and then Cucurella formed the midfield threes like this. And then there was times where Cucurella was the left centre-back, and Reece James formed the midfield 3 like this. It was like we played a few times early in the season. We haven't shaped up like this in the 3-3-4 in a while, but we certainly did so today. To be honest, you could even argue that it was a time like one of these, or I don't know. It's so difficult. Like maybe the closest comparison I can make is almost one like this. It was almost the 3-4-3 like in total times, except that it didn't work at all. Sanchez was still out here. Jackson kind of a front two. Then we were kind of just off balance. You had Caicedo kind of Cucurella kind of in this half role. It's super weird to make it look how exactly we lined up. It's almost impossible for me. I mean, if someone has a better explanation of it, how they saw it, it's very strange. It's very, very strange. I mean, I can show you guys the average formations. Oh, I didn't even make it big. My apologies. I can show you the average formations on SofaScore. It's kind of like this 3-3-4, like I said, but very much off balance. Obviously, average positions don't always tell the full story because, you know, in moments it's like this, in moments it's like that. But my God, I can't get over Sanchez, man. I cannot get over him. I cannot get over how bad he is. Like, that first goal, Cucurella in the duel with, can't remember who it was. Was it Nunez? Whichever one of the City's players it was. Maybe it was Marmoush. I genuinely can't remember. He's dueling, fighting, running back, and Sanchez is not coming. All Sanchez had to do was come for the ball. Cucurella would have blocked the player, and Sanchez could have cleared it. Sanchez doesn't come. Cucurella has to slide in, slides it into Sanchez, bounces from Sanchez back to Gvardiol, who Noni Madueke left completely on his own, and Gvardiol basically had a tap in from close range. Well, initially, the whole thing even only happened because Madueke played everybody onside. And then that second goal, it's an assist for Ederson. We allowed their goalkeeper to have an assist. Our goalkeeper isn't even able to hit the ball further than the halfway line, man. And then Chalobah is in the duel with Haaland. Doesn't look great, to be honest. When Haaland stops, Chalobah kind of slips and falls over. But by that point, it was already too late. The chance, like, it was already fucked because Sanchez had come out, and let me elaborate it here on screen. Sanchez, if this is the box, right? You know, Chalobah with Haaland was about here. Sanchez goes to here. You can see it on the thumbnail. Sanchez is here, literally here. And then Haaland just kind of lobs him and just puts it in. No problem at all. Sanchez is then hitting the floor in anger. And I'm like, bro, just shut up. Just go away. Leave our club. The away end was booing him. And he absolutely deserves it. He absolutely deserves it. Like, what a disgrace of a player. What a disgrace of a performance. What a disgrace that this man is our goalkeeper. And it was a disgrace from the first day. It was a disgrace from the first day that we signed him. Don't get it twisted. Do not get it twisted. When Robert Sanchez was signed, he was not signed to be number one goalkeeper. He was signed to be backup to Kepa Arrizabalaga. But then we got two loan offers for Kepa. One from Bayern Munich and one from Real Madrid. Kepa went to Real Madrid. We signed Petrovic at the end, who was already better than Sanchez. And now we send Petrovic on loan because he's not good enough with his feet. Yeah, but fucking Sanchez is. To be fair, Sanchez's passing was okay today. I will give him that bit as the only thing that was okay today from him. And then we signed Jurgensen for absolutely no reason. Absolutely no reason. We should. We should. He's miles and miles and miles clear of Robert Sanchez. He's a complete disgrace. He's a complete disgrace. It's who we are, mate. I'm not sure what exactly you mean, but there you go. Honestly, Marmoush is terrible. Is he? I mean, bloody hell. Hi, Laurenz. If we don't make a proper signing, no top four, we can't make top four with Sanchez in goal. Well, then we're not making top four because we're definitely not getting a better goalkeeper. Like, we're not signing a goalkeeper. I'm 100% sure that we are not going to be signing a goalkeeper. I mean, even FotMob gave it a 4.7. Sanchez made an error that led to a goal for City. Like I say, I think he made two errors that led to goals. An absolute joke. An absolute joke. I mean, like I say, the passing itself wasn't that bad today. Too many punts into no man's land. Made a couple of saves. None of them were particularly special. He was shocking. He was at fault. Madueke and him for the first goal. Him alone on the second goal. And obviously the third goal happens at the end, I know. But it doesn't really, that didn't change anything anymore. He wasn't at fault for that. But I'll give him a 0. And you know what? No. You're not even getting a 0. You are getting... You are getting a poo emoji, and that's the only thing you deserve, Mr. Sanchez. The only thing you deserve is a poo emoji. We can make top 4, but Bournemouth will finish above us. Maybe. I wouldn't be so sure. There's going to be a time where Bournemouth start dropping points. Trust me. Just like just like everyone said that 3 days ago that Forest would finish ahead of us, and now they lost 5-0 to Bournemouth all of a sudden. Everyone's like, oh, maybe Forest aren't that good. Let's wait a little bit. Just be angry about today. Don't doomsday about the rest of the season already. There's no need and no benefit in that. time will tell what happens. We can't control what the sport directors do. And trust me, we will get better and we will start getting better results again as the season goes on. I guarantee that. Whether it will be top 4, whether it will be 5th, however it will end, we will not always be as bad as we have been today and as we were before the Wolves game. 100% not. But let's just be critical about today because, my God, these lot deserve it. They absolutely deserve it. Levi Colwill got himself booked for time wasted because we let the centre-back do the goal kicks on a lot of occasions. Then he got himself booked, even though he then moaned about it as if he asked the ref whether he can now play it or not. And then he got booked, which is obviously stupid. Doesn't exactly help when your centre-back gets booked in the first half already for time wasting. Like, obviously, he's going to be hindered to attack certain players after that. He also made a bit of an error that unfortunately luckily didn't lead to anything, but needed to be cleaned up, and a mistake in a duel against Haaland. And then also, he got kind of just bodied is maybe the wrong word, but just manhandled by Haaland ahead of their second goal. But then it was also terrible from Chalobah, I got to say. It was also terrible from Chalobah for that third goal. But yeah, Colwill wasn't great. He wasn't awful, but he wasn't great. Let me look at his stats. I'm really not sure. Obviously, the booking I'm not happy with. Passing's been quite good. He made some good passes. 7 misplaced passes isn't great, but you move 3 out of 7 long balls. All right, no tackles. 1 out of 3 aerial duels. Somehow no ground duels. Not sure how that's possible. I'm giving Levi Colwill a 4. I'm not sure what you guys think, but I'm giving Levi Colwill a 4. Before we get to Chalobah, let me see what a few more of you guys in the chat have said. Flynn says, it's just the thin line of players in the middle of the pitch begging City to lob the ball over our defense, literally. How many times have we lost the game after being 1-0 up the season? Honestly, I don't know, but I would love to know. Roca says, as you said, we won't buy a new goalkeeper, but do you think next season Kepa will be our number 1 again? Or, yes, his career at Chelsea is over? Oh, it's a good question. I wouldn't completely rule it out. But the thing, obviously, Kepa's contract was supposed to already end this season. But with his loan with Bournemouth, we extended it by 1 season. Bournemouth do have an option to buy him, as far as I know. But whether they will use that or not, I don't know. Don't blame Sanchez, blame Maresca for playing him. Well, no, I do blame Sanchez. Because, first of all, Sanchez is terrible. Shouldn't be making the errors he makes, whether he's getting picked unrightly or not. I said it already. I don't know if Maresca actually has the power to not play him. I'm really not sure. But also, I mean, it's easy for us to say Jurgensen will be better. I kind of want to agree with all of you guys. I kind of want to. I'm like, Sanchez, stop playing him. I'm livid. I'm absolutely, unacceptable until you stop playing him. Maybe there's a point to that as well. Absolutely. But my God, I can't hack it anymore. I can't hack it, guys. I can't hack it. These players who are so good for a while, and they sold us a full stream. We're back to the last 2 years, man. This was the worst we've played at Man City in a long time as well. Like, terrible. Like, obviously we scored the goal, but it was just gifted to us, and we have such big chances that we then don't take. I say such big chances as if that was plural. It was kind of 1, maybe 2 more. It just, no, be real, we're absolutely rubbish. The season is going to continue like this because this is our level. Let's stop this copium. I disagree, H. That's not how it goes, in my opinion. That's how it goes. We don't go from being good to being awful, and then you don't just remain awful. It's an up and down, and that's also what you get with a young team. Again, I have to say it, with a young, inexperienced manager. That's important. Very inexperienced manager. You gotta continue this. Our defenders just get bullied by anyone physical at the moment. True. The ease with which Haaland held off Colwill for the 3rd goal is astonishing. Yeah, but he's Haaland. There's a reason why he's Haaland. Why did we change the team we had versus Wolves? Why did Enzo and Colwill come back in? I mean, sorry, bro. If he did pick the same team, everybody would have been fuming that he, picked the same team against City as he did against Wolves. The Demon says Maresca said earlier in the season that he should be blamed for Sanchez since he keeps picking it. I mean, it's true, but just because Sanchez says something, Maresca says something, I don't believe it. I don't believe that Maresca is happy with Sanchez. I don't believe that Maresca is happy to defend him constantly. I don't believe that Maresca is happy with not signing a midfielder or recalling one. I don't think any of that. You know what I mean? Maresca also told us in the summer that Chalobah didn't fit his style and was like okay with him, leaving. It was like, yeah, they're just not part of my plans, the ones that we don't use. Then we found out it was actually just for PSR reasons. You know what I mean? Maresca had instilled the loser's mentality in the squad. We were doing good until he starts humbling us. Yeah, I'm not happy with that either. And I mean, the talking us out of the title race, I can understand, maybe accept. But talking us out of a top 4 race as if it's not the expectation for us is ridiculous. Petrovic just made a game-winning save to get Strasbourg to 3 points. Well, that's good. I also saw that, what's his face? Andre Santos scored again. Jorgensen, he said at least he's 22. Rather him making mistakes than a goalkeeper that is in his prime. Now, Jonas, this is a very, very fair point, and I 100% agree with this. 100% agree with this. And like I say, I think that it should be Jorgensen that does play. I'm just not as sure if it would be so much better, but it would be more acceptable him making errors. I just don't know if he has the power to drop him. I genuinely don't know. If you believe Alex, when Robert is making the decision on which goalkeeper starts, not Maresca. That's what I'm saying. There's these rumours, there's these hints going around, and that's what I'm saying. Chelsea haven't beaten Arsenal, City, or Liverpool under Todd. Let that sink in. Yeah, it's shocking, isn't it? Absolutely embarrassing. Noni and Sanchez, pure garbage. Levi, very immature, got yellow for time wasting. Cole Palmer seems like he wants to go back to City with that performance today. Maresca poor as well. Romani says, really starting to miss Mr. Abramovich. He wouldn't tolerate this. Maresca isn't leading us anywhere using outdated tactic. What? I mean, there's a lot you can say about Maresca, but outdated tactics are not it. Vincent says, if we lose to West Ham to Potter, I mean, you can already see it written in the stars, can't you? No chance of top 4. Have the toughest last 3 games to end the season. We do. Newcastle away, Liverpool and Nottingham away. No chance for top 4. Yeah, there's a good chance we might have to finish 5th, but I'm going to remain optimistic. Yeah, we don't know. Maybe Jorgensen is even worse, but give him a run of games. Give him at least a month in the starting 11. I agree. Stinker hooked. Not sure what you mean, but anyway. I am fed up with Maresca playing Sanchez and always subbing Nkunku, who doesn't do anything. But that's the problem, Flynn, isn't it? The last 2 games, Nkunku didn't come on for Jackson. And I was sat there doing my podcast with Pys, as we always do every week. There will be a new episode on Tuesday again. Chelsea Unfiltered. Link is down in the description to the latest episode from last Tuesday. And Pys was moaning to me in both of those podcasts that why didn't he take Jackson off? And I'm not saying Pys is everyone, but I know there would have been lots of people that complained if Jackson stayed on because Jackson deserved to come off today. But Nkunku just didn't deserve to come on. But would it have been so much better with you? I doubt that. Was our best attacker today? He was our best attacker and our worst defender. And that's the problem. That is the problem. Chelsea fans bring the bid for who? For Garnacho. Yeah, probably. You'll be buzzing. Roman would have sacked the sporting directors and Enzo would have never been hired. Yeah, that's the point. Like, people say Enzo Maresca would be sacked by now by Roman. Roman would have never hired somebody like Enzo Maresca. Would have never done so. But we are now suffering the issues that come with hiring a championship manager. A manager that's had only 1 full season under his managerial belt. Of course, there's going to be issues that they're not perfect in, 100%. But when we had a more experienced manager in Graham Potter, the fans hounded them out. And then the next one, these people decided to hire as a Spurs legend, who no matter how good or bad he was going to be, was never going to work out. And he was bad. I don't even know where my club Chelsea's heading to. I don't know. Chelsea owner obsession with young players is on par with the DiCaprio's obsession with under 20s girlfriends. It's half an issue and Nkunku is a huge issue. I agree. We need to talk about how the director set us up to fail for the last 2 years. Yes, we do need to talk about that. And people don't accept it. I mean, some of you might have caught my stream or in hindsight as a video with Euro Expert on Thursday. And we were talking lots about what's the issues at Chelsea. And even people, analysts like him that work for The Athletic, have this idea in their mind that we have a thick squad and that we're, it's not as bad as Tottenham. Now, okay, it's not as bad as at Tottenham because they're 15th. But we are too light. We have 1 striker. Everybody else is not an option. We have not enough midfielders. Now, Enzo was rushed back today. Didn't look fit to me. But we don't have enough midfielders. We don't have enough centre-backs, really, of a good enough level. Like, we are so open. We don't have a backup left-back anymore because Renato Vega is gone to Juve on loan. So Cucurella is our only player there. So, no. Do not need him. He's just another Lukaku. By the way, guys, 150 if you're watching. Hit that like button for me right now. We are on 36 likes. Let's get to 100 likes immediately. Well, let's get to 50 likes, but let's get to 100 likes. Everyone, please take a second. Go down below. Hit the like button for me, whether you're on your phone or your desktop or whatever you're watching it on. Even if you're watching on a TV or a PlayStation, there's always a way to hit that like button. Please do. I'd really appreciate that. I would really, really appreciate that. Petrovic loan seems so dumb. It does, but, it is what it is. Have you seen the graphic comparing the goalkeepers? We have Sanchez 4.9, Pender 7.1, Petrovic 8.2, Kepa 8 score. No, I haven't, but I'm not surprised. Better to bring you on. Sure, he may not do well, but expectations are low, so what do we have to lose? Top 4 is gone. I mean, yeah, that's one way of looking at it. From elite managers like Jose Ancelotti, Tuchel to Potter, Maresca. Yep, but the problem is also we've gone through so many of these elite managers, there isn't really many more available. We tried for Nagelsmann, he said no. We tried for Luis Enrique, and a mix of him and us said no. because the way we run our football club, elite managers don't want to be here. Yeah, Rokas asks, where is Nkunku's best position? He can't play striker, can't play 10, can't play winger. What was he bought to do here? That is a good question. That is a good question. He's a good player. Like, he's got good technique. He's a great finisher. He can do those things, but he's lazy. He's slow. Not slow in principle, but he plays just slow. And his best position is being second striker. But we don't play with the second striker, so it's useless. Let's go to Trevor Chalobah. Let's move on with these player ratings here. I was also not particularly happy with him. I was happy with him for the majority of the game, but then I was really unhappy with him for that third goal. Now, that third goal didn't change anything. That third goal didn't really matter so much, so I'm not going to give him too low of a rating, because up until that point, he was our only acceptable, or one of our only acceptable players on the day. He was being the leader at the back. He was being the commander at the back. He was the only one doing halfway decent. Yeah, 9 misplaced passes. Still a bit too much, if I'm honest. Only 1 of 6 long balls. At least he had some duels. You know, Cobalt wasn't even in a ground duel. Only 1 out of 3 aerial duels. He won 3 out of 5. I'll give Chalobah a 6, because I arguably think that he deserved a higher rating than an average score until that goal. And I also think that that was not where the issue comes from anymore by that point. Maybe I could do 5.5. Now, you know what? I'll do 5.5. I can't even give him a 6. I'm sorry, Trev. It's that last goal. Honestly, Chalobah 3 or 4 played a part in our downfall. Fair enough. I disagree, but fair enough. Yeah, I'll give him a 5.5. Certainly much better than Levi Colwill, but still not good, especially on that last goal. Well, next go to Reece James, who, I don't know again. There was one that he misread really badly against Gvardiol. Gvardiol making the run from deep. Reece James really misread that ball badly, but Gvardiol on his weak right foot thankfully dragged it wide. There was defensive good moments, you know. The passing was okay. Not sure why he only had the ball so few times. Didn't succeed a dribble. Only attempted 1 cross. Only 1 out of 3 long balls. 1 out of 1 tackle. Okay, 1 out of 3 ground duels. Aerial duels. I'll give Reece a 5. Part of me wants to say 5.5 as well. Still coming back from injury and stuff. I think I have to go 5. I think Chalobah was the best of those at the back, for me. But I understand if people see it differently. I very much understand if people see it differently. Guys, not enough of you have gone down below and hit the like button right now. Come on. Right now, go down below and hit that like button for me. If we get to 100 likes, we might do something a little bit special at the end. So please hit that like button. Please do. We move over to Marco Correa, shall we? Bloody hell. I still don't know, really. I also don't know what to think about him. Now, he had our only shot, I think, in the second half, which was well over, but at least a nicely executed attack. Only 5 misplaced passes, certainly better than the others. Shots, okay, we looked at that. 1 accurate cross, 1 attempt across, none accurate, 0 out of 4 long balls, 1 out of 3 tackles, 3 out of 4 ground duels at least. I kind of want to give Cucurella a 6. I kind of want to give Reece Cucurella a 6. Reece was fine. 1 error. Madueke let him down time after time after time. It's true. Thoughts on Palmer needing to be benched? Well, maybe on some other day you could argue this to let João Felix play instead. But today, as João Felix wasn't here, as he was on compassionate leave, I don't think so. This one is for me. Yeah, Clutch, what are you doing? Stop watching. Either watch all the games or watch none of the games. I'd say same as James, maybe a little better. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. You know what? I'm going to change my mind slightly. I'm going to give Cucurella a 6. And I'm going to give James a 5.5. Maybe it's too nice. I don't know. What do people think of this? I'll give you a couple of minutes to make your decision. Would be mad at you, Clutch, but adding poop to more poop doesn't make a difference. 1 win in 6 games. It's true. It's not helpful at the moment. I'm really intrigued to what you guys say. When I watch, this is usually the result. Exactly, Clutch. So stop watching, please, for the love of God. James deserves a 6. A 6. Okay, now I'm not going to go higher than a 5.5, but I'm going to give him higher than the 5 at least. Cuckoo 5, 5.5. RJ 5. There you go. Well, I guess we're just 0.5 off each other, but still same gaps at least. I'm not seeing people be completely in disagreement, so I'm probably going to stick with it like this. I think so. We move on, though. We move on to Mr. Moises Caicedo, who didn't have a good game today, did he? Bloody hell, he got moved. He got not close enough. He was not aggressive enough. He got moved around and made it too simple. Now, on the ball wasn't too bad. 96%, only misplaced 2 passes, had 2 successful dribbles. The ground yours is, again, it's awful. And he was just dragged too much. He was just dragged around too much, and that just didn't work. I mean, you can see it there with City's lineup, where Gundogan was in that gap. Marmoush came inside to kind of drag Reece central. Then Gvardiol pushed super high up, needing Madueke to come back with him, almost creating a back 5 very often off the ball. And then Gundogan dropped into here, which created this gap where Caicedo followed Gundogan, but not followed him enough. And then it just played simple 1 pound balls of Gundogan into this gap, and they exploited it time and time and time again. Obviously, they didn't create the chance every time, but that's how they sustained the pressure, and that's how we never got out of the pressure, and that was the problem. And Caicedo, even though he wasn't terrible as a total, I think the biggest problem today was on midfield, because they were just not aggressive enough. They didn't win the ball high. They didn't win the ball enough. They weren't on it enough. They were overplayed way too easy. And I'm sure a lot of that was long balls, and that is then not directly the midfielder's fault to an extent, I guess. But it just means that they have no impact. And when you have no impact defensively, really, and then on the ball, we were just scared we couldn't beat the press. We could not beat the press. There was a couple of occasions when Caicedo did, to be fair. Maybe I'll give him a 5.5 because I think a 5 would be a bit too low. To be fair, Caleb says I would give more a 4.5 or a 5. So there you go. Cranky Pan says, can't blame Caicedo today running for 2 other players because Enzo wasn't fit and Palmer doesn't run against Marmoush, Gundo, and Nunez. Foden can't be too critical. Maybe that is a point. I'll give him a 5.5, like you said. And I move over to Enzo Fernandez, who honestly, I noticed the least of all of our players. Like, there was still at least some moments where I was like, okay, this is Caicedo here doing something good, blah, blah, blah. But Enzo, I mean, he won the most duels, which I didn't really see coming, if I'm honest. 6 out of 15, though. Is it what, from Chelsea? No, from the whole match. But 6 out of 15 is still not a great ratio. Not bad, though. Certainly got stuck in more than I realized, if I'm honest. 3 out of 4 long balls is good. 3 out of 3 successful dribbles is very good. Bloody hell, he was better than I thought. Was Enzo better than I thought? Guys, does anybody else think Enzo was maybe better than they thought looking at these stats? Because these stats do not look bad. But the funny thing is he won the most duels, but he also lost the most duels. So make of that what you will. But he was at least, the player that got involved in the most duels. I can't get... No. I can't give him a 6. I do not believe that our midfielders deserve a 6. But with those stats, I'm going to give Enzo higher than Caicedo. I'm going to have to drop Caicedo to a 5 and give Enzo a 5.5. I just do not believe that he warrants a 6. I just don't. I'm sorry. And we move on to Madueke, the next conversation. My God, Noni. What is this? Why are you like this? I thought so too. But now I look at the stats and I'm like, well, he did more than anybody else did. Madueke, because he scores a goal and he was arguably our most dangerous attacker. Like, he's the only one that really did much. And even when you look at his FOTMOB rating now, you'll see it in a second. Does he have the highest rating of our players? Well, joined with Jackson. Obviously, it's because of the goal. I mean, he did well on that goal. There wasn't much to do. Jackson did the majority of the work and he just had to get to a tap-in, which Jackson nearly overhit that pass, which that didn't help. 12 out of 17 passes. The crossing, 0 out of 3 again, and most of them were absolutely awful. I mean, at least he succeeded 2 dribbles, I suppose. 2 out of 6 ground duels. But the problem is the defensive error for me. That's the problem for me. Let me look at it, because I'm sure there's many still frames of exactly this problem going around. I'm sure there's many of it. So this is the problem. This is where the problem lies. Here, this is the through ball from Nunez, maybe, to whoever this guy is. Who is it? Maybe that's Nunez, actually. Anyways, whoever played that pass, maybe it's Gundogan, actually, because I don't see Gundogan anywhere else. Madueke, as our right winger, is 2 meters behind our entire back 4, playing them onside, It would ever so slightly only have been offside otherwise, to be fair, but still, ever so slightly offside. Then Cucurella is fighting for his life getting to that ball. You can see it there. Cucurella then slides in. It hits Sanchez because Sanchez failed to come out. It bounces back to Gvardiol. And Noni, here in front of Gvardiol, here 2 meters behind Gvardiol, running at the end. Not running until that point. Absolute disgrace. Absolute disgrace. Obviously, he's not a wingback. Like this comment here, the reply says, he's not a wingback. That's not his job. Today, he had to. Because the reason he had to do this was because Man City exploited Madueke's laziness. They pushed their left centre-back in Gvardiol, left back, left centre-back, whichever way you want to look at it. They pushed him up all the way to, next to Marmoush, essentially. To make Madueke do this. On the one hand, to take us an outball away from ours, in Noni Madueke not being able to play so high, but also his laziness. And it got exploited. It got exploited so badly. Jaden says, we used to have players like Pedro and Willian on the wings. Now we got dogshit players like Noni on the wings, yeah. And Neto, because my God, he did nothing. He did absolutely nothing. And to be honest, I'd probably agree. Oh my God. Oh my God. What am I looking at? 6.5. Would be 7.5 if he didn't do the stupid mistake and kind of fall off big time from the goal. So you're only giving him a goal, 6.5, because he scored a goal, even though he made a crucial mistake and fell off big time. Because this was, let's be clear here. This was the only time it cost us a goal. This issue, Noni Madueke being asleep and Gvardiol or Marmoush getting in behind because Noni was asleep, happened 5-6 times this game. Gvardiol had a huge chance early in the game when Madueke decided to try to go for a ball that he was never going to get, lies on the floor, rushes in, gets spun like an absolute mug, and unfortunately, or luckily for us, and unfortunately for them, Gvardiol skies his effort with his right foot from inside the box. It's a close, similar position. But Madueke fucked up a lot. Gets a 4 from JP, who's your realistic striker to sign in January. None. We've not been linked to one, guys. Who was to sign? No one. Absolutely no one. Well, I guess maybe I slept on that part, like the AI generated ratings. Are my ratings AI generated or yours? I mean, yeah, but I'm not giving Madueke a 7.5 or a 6.5 because FOTMob gives him a 7.5. No, that's not how it works. He just did FOTMob gives a lot more than 1 point for a goal. It's a lot more than that and a lot worse than that. No, wrong. My rating for Noni, I'm almost tempted to do what somebody else said in terms of 1 point for the goal, half a point for a couple of runs, and that's almost it because I'm so annoyed at the laziness. It's one thing to not always be in the position, but in this case, he was 2 meters behind our line to play the opposition's onside for their equalizer. Man, we were still in the lead at that point. Now we weren't playing well, but we were still leading until he placed the entirety of the line of City attack onside, 2 meters further back than our defensive line. And then after already falling asleep there, he still doesn't wake up to follow his man and stop him from scoring a goal. It's just too poor, man. It's too poor. I've given it a 1.5, and I think I'm being nice if I do that. Bro, why is Maresca using this setup with Noni as a right wing back when he clearly is not reliable going up and down? Maresca needs to figure this out. Yeah, I mean, now you can obviously make a case that Neto should have done it instead, but this is not a situation where Maresca decided let Madueke play wingback. It's a situation that Man City decided to exploit Madueke. It's not that Maresca used Madueke as a wingback. It's Man City using their kind of, left back so high up that it forces Madueke to push with and follow. Now, like you say, you could have maybe done it with Neto instead. And why Neto decided to come on for Sancho, I'm also not sure, even though Sancho wasn't great either, and we'll get to Sancho in a minute, obviously. Can't wait for Esteban. I mean, neither can I, but trust me, in a game like today, we will be horrified by someone like Esteban. Imagine if Esteban was having to defend and follow Gvardiol all game long. This would not have gone well. Retarari says this problem is created by directors. No need tactical talk. I agree with this. Even in the first half, we weren't exactly good either. No, 100%. We do, except against Wolves. They were all of a sudden better in the first half. In the second half. But yeah, I'll give Noni a 1.5. I understand that who was it there? JP says, I understand the frustration in terms of the laziness, but 1 is a bit harsh in my opinion. Sure, I could probably give him a 2. I could probably give him a 3, but I need to make a point of how this cannot be. And honestly, it starts to really annoy me in terms of with Madueke. Like, Maresca needs to stop praising him. I know he praises him and still questions him, but he says too often that he thinks he's a top player. A player like Madueke, this will get to his head. This is not what Madueke should be told. And to be honest, I put Sancho too high. Sancho also had to do a lot of defending. So Sancho didn't do it as badly as Madueke. Now, he didn't have to do it as much because Nunez on the right kind of pushed up differently, more into midfield than into the wing areas, which made it a bit simpler. But still, Sancho did a lot of defending. I mean, you could see it in many, many moments. I mean, even in the screenshot we had up earlier, Sancho was next to Cucurella trying to defend. Sancho was actually holding the defensive line, unlike Noni Madueke. But Sancho didn't do much either. At least he didn't give the ball away. 0 out of 3 successful dribbles is poor, to be fair. One tackle, 1 out of 4 ground duels. I'll give him a 4. He didn't do anything either. And honestly, that chance when, Palmer failed to lay it off to Jackson properly, and then Jackson failed to have the bottle to shoot with his left foot, although maybe better off for it, because maybe otherwise he would have ended with a miss like Fernando Torres at Manchester United. Maybe he had good reason not to trust his left foot, but that's the problem in it of itself, obviously. But then he laid it back to Sancho. Sancho shot and got it blocked. Why did Sancho go low? Why are the defenders going to try to block it? Low. Shoot high. Try to rifle it into the roof of the net. That's your biggest chance. He didn't. Maybe is a 4 nice for Sancho? I mean, JP says 5.5. I think that's way too much. Waste time talking tactics. It's directors from low-level clubs. Yeah. You're missing the point. You don't defend against City. You attack them. It's the only way you beat City. You have to attack them. Okay, John. I mean, I hear that argument, but when they have the ball, they have the ball. When we have the ball, we have the ball. Sure. When they have the ball, we try to press, and we try to press at times, but they are one of the best teams in the world, even in poor form, at beating a press. And then once they settle in and around the halfway line, and then they push Gvardiol up to left wing, it's not about you don't defend against City, you attack them. You need to drop it. You need to drop Madueke. You need to drop the player that's in that position. Now, sure, you can say, okay, no, Madueke doesn't drop deep, and you let Reece James deal with it, and you let Chalobah drill with Marmoush. But if you do that, you let Haaland on his own deal with Levi Colwill. That's your options. You're either making Madueke help, or you're making Levi Colwill to deal with Haaland on his own. And you're making Chalobah deal with Marmoush on his own, who's very quick. Very quick. So, yeah. There you go. Actually, yeah, 4 is more fair. He didn't really do anything. 4, 4.5. The system of passing horizontally, passing around the box is so shite, man. Even the 4-2-3-1 philosophy is so slow, man. Papa's literally ruined football for real. I mean, we don't really do anything in a 4-2-3-1, to be honest. Like, obviously, you can see there, this is kind of on the ball, although it was more for sometimes this 3 and more so this midfield 3 and kind of a 3-3-4 shape in possession. And then out of possession, it was this. Then you had Sancho essentially back here, almost creating like helping Cucurella to an extent. It was almost a little bit of a back 6 sometimes, or Sancho at least somewhere here defending the low blocks. Then you've got Enzo and Caicedo here, and you've got kind of a front 2 of Jackson and Palmer. And obviously, when City had the ball here, we were obviously higher than this, but in principle, it's kind of a lot what happened, and it just didn't work. It just didn't bloody work, did it? Let's get to Cole Palmer, shall we, guys? Let's get to Cole bloody Palmer. I'm so annoyed by all of these lot. Palmer, what are you doing? Like, just 2 weeks ago, you pulled off one of the most outrageous defensive... outrageous kind of one-on-one with the keeper, kind of fake him, sit him down and score. And now you go for exactly that situation, bottle it, try to pass it to Jackson. To be fair enough, because he probably saw all those Chelsea fans fuming at Raheem Sterling after that Wolves game on New Year's Eve last year, or 2 years ago now, but last season, when Sterling didn't square it. Palmer squares it, but he messed up the square. He played it too far ahead of Jackson. Now, should Jackson still have done better? Could Jackson have gone for the finish with his left? Yes, he could have done. Absolutely could have done. But would it have necessarily worked? I'm not sure. I think he might well have missed it. Which is, again, the problem in and of itself. But Palmer's pass was the problem. Like, Palmer's pass was not good enough. It really wasn't. It absolutely wasn't. And here we can look at his stats. Let's look at his stats. 6.5 on FOTMOB, but I'm not going to read too much into that, as we talked about with Noni Madueke. 22 out of 27 passes. Not awful, but, you know, dropping deep, but also not dropping deep enough. His pressing was okay. Honestly, I thought he was certainly leading our press. 2 out of 4 dribbles isn't too bad. 4 out of 7 long balls isn't bad either. 5 out of 10 ground duels, to be honest, really isn't bad either. I don't like how he's almost scared of aerial duels. Like, he backs out of them. He doesn't even go for it, which I find frustrating and disappointing. I'll give Palmer... I honestly think Palmer was maybe worse than Sancho. Is that harsh to say Palmer was worse than Sancho? Maybe not worse. Maybe he gets a 4... I kind of want to give him a 3.5 for messing that pass up. I think that performance was probably about even if Palmer obviously did a lot more. That's because he played more central, not because he was so much better. I have to give Palmer 3.5, I think. His form is bad at the moment. And honestly, like, I defend... well, we'll get to Nicholas Jackson in a minute, but I defend Jackson a lot. I also defend Palmer a lot. But at the moment, it's not really working. But I really don't think it's that much of a Palmer issue. I just think the runs and the belief in attack and the regularity in which we get the ball into the forward areas just isn't there. And that frustrates me and annoys me. It's really, really hard. Palmer needs to do so much better considering his standards. Yeah, no, he does. He does need to do so much better. He ghosted today, but we can't blame him. He's being overused. I mean, maybe he's being a bit overused, but also with our last 2 games had always pretty much a whole week in between. So I'm not really blaming rest too much. Obviously, I had a little niggle, didn't play Wolves fully fit, but supposedly was better for today. I don't know. Again, with João Felix not available, there wasn't really much of a different option. 3 at max, didn't affect the game at all. I mean, you're like, this isn't completely wrong, but I can't give Palmer a 3 and Sancho a 4. Like, Sancho certainly didn't affect it anymore. But I think part of the problem why I don't want to go just low on these is, like, the problem is also further back here. We just couldn't beat their press. None of them could. Like, and even when we beat the press, we beat it to here. And then we didn't really, the next follow-up pass wasn't good, or the movement wasn't good. It just didn't really work. I'm going to leave it as a 3.5 for now. But my God, I'm not happy. I'm really, 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 really not happy. Moving back to right wing, give Felix a chance behind Jackson. Yeah, but if you had that today, Palmer would have been defending Gvardiol. Would you have wanted that next to Reece James as right wing back? I don't think anybody would have wanted that. Again, you could have done it differently, but then you leave Colwell defending Haaland on his own, and you don't want that either, do you? Bloody Haaland with a goal and assist against us, of course. And Jackson, that assist, man. The assist was great. The assist was great. He wins the ball back. Obviously, a terrible backwards header from Khusanov, which is just poor. And he does all right to square it. Madueke puts it in. We get that goal. Nice. But there you start seeing the problem. Only 7 passes, a total of 20 touches. And to be honest, out of 11, to only have 7 successful passes isn't great, is it? Why did he not shoot that second one? I don't know. 2 shots, but the one where you should have shot, he didn't shoot. 0 out of 2 tackles. I don't really care about that. 3 out of 4 ground duels, 4 out of 1. And then that one moment where he runs through, we finally get through their kind of press. We kind of stay through to it. We kind of go through it for once. And then he runs and he runs and he runs and he tries to cross it to Madueke and he falls over. And it's just such a bad cross. And Sanchez was helping him and Palmer was helping him. They were all there. And then he goes on his left foot that he didn't trust earlier. And now he wants to cross his left foot, slips. He slips. Enzo Maresca for Sanchez. You're telling me you can't be dropped, Sanchez, man? Come on. This was City talking about stay humble. We never said we stayed arguably too humble. Haaland was bullying us regardless who we play. I think the only guy we have physically to maybe stop him is Disasi and his Boza moments. Well, I think physically maybe the closest to being able to handle it is probably Tosin, maybe, but that's why you need 2 players on him. That's the problem. If he only had to deal with one player, he would have bullied us even more. That's the problem. Chris says, I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. I am for real. Never meant to miss another chance. It wasn't me that spent £1 billion. Yeah. His pressing is good, but 4.5 for me. I'll give Jackson a 3. And If Nkunku hadn't come on and been as bad as he was, I'll give him a 2.5. Because it wasn't just the goal that way should have done better, or that, not goal they should have done better. That was back heel, so I'm like, what are you doing? Like I talked about that cross where he's running instead of passing and then slips. There was more moments. There was truly more moments that frustrated me. So there you go. But the reason why I'm not giving him lower, maybe I kind of want to give it back to a 3. But the problem, the big problem, was that he was replaced by Christopher Nkunku after 61 minutes. For Maresca standards, a very early substitution. Very early. And then you have Nkunku on the pitch. To be fair, he passed a lot more than Jackson did. Had nearly as many touches. But why? If we go back to SofaScore, let me open it again. I need to find it again. If we open SofaScore again, I mean, we can scroll through the stats if we will. At 3 out of 14 passes, maybe he did more than I thought. Had a successful dribble, apparently a successful tackle, apparently 2 out of 2 ground duels, apparently, honestly, off the bench, he didn't even look that bad. Off the stats, it doesn't even look that bad. But I want to go to players' average position and then show substitutes. And I'm going to show this to you now. And this is kind of where my problem stems from. Maybe it's not purely on Nkunku. Maybe it isn't. We can discuss this. This is Nkunku's average position. This is Palmer's average position. Nkunku, Palmer. Nkunku, Palmer. Sorry, Jackson. Nkunku, Jackson. 15, the number 15, Jackson's number. Now, obviously, with Sancho and Neto, that changed as well, and maybe it only changed for Neto as a result of Nkunku. And obviously, Nkunku is supposed to drop deeper, and Sancho isn't the guy to get him behind. So it was Neto who was supposed to do that, but it just didn't work. Like we never got the ball to Neto, and Nkunku just dropping deep and not being anywhere near the box. And the problem is also dropping deep into this area, playing super slow passes with Sancho or Neto or Cucurella, and then not taking way too long to make the run back into the box. But honestly, the stats have slightly surprised me in terms of how bad or not bad they are. So I'm not going to give him the 0 that I had planned. I'm going to give him the same 2.5 as Jackson, because we were much worse when he had come on. We definitely were much worse, but maybe not purely due to his own fault. Maybe not due to his own fault. What were the other subs that we made, guys? Malagusto came on for Reece James, and Pedro Neto came on for Jadon Sancho. So let's write that down quickly. Gusto, and then Neto. And honestly, Neto, he's lucky that I'm giving him an NA. Very lucky, because honestly, he deserves about a 0. And as for Malagusto, let's go to the FOMO screen again quickly. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're still here, I appreciate you. Hit that like button for me if you haven't done that yet, and subscribe if you haven't done so either. Gusto, yeah, I mean, he did all right. 9 out of 11 passes, 1 tackle, 1 ground duel, 1 lost an average. Didn't have much to do. Like, there wasn't much defending going on. There was just City kind of making sure we don't do anything, and then they countered with the long balls to Haaland, and Gusto wasn't involved in it. So there you go. I'd probably just give Gusto a NA as well. The same for Neto. Obviously, didn't give the ball away, but he just didn't do anything. Didn't beat his man. 0 out of 4 crosses is just poor. Supposedly didn't attempt to dribble. Disagree with this, but there you go. No tackles, no duels. They're lucky they're getting NAs, guys. They're honestly slightly lucky they're getting NAs. Now, after this, after doing the NA for Gusto now, I will head over to Twitter and see if we got any interesting quotes from post-game that we need to be talking about. I look at that now, and then we'll finish on Enzo Maresca's rating. Right. Yeah, next home game, or next game for Chelsea is Graham Potter coming to Stamford Bridge, so that's going to be fun. But here you go. Let's look at these quotes from Enzo Maresca post-game. We are making progress. We are better than 1 or 2 months ago. These moments will make us better. Well, I disagree that we are any better than 2 months ago. On Robert Sanchez, Robert is the first one to admit he knows he has to do better. Working hard every day is the way to improve. We try to have conversations with all of them. And then lastly, we trust Robert for sure. He's completely aware he's making mistakes in this moment. We trust Robert. We have 1 entire week, and we will see the reaction for the next game. So for me, this quote, makes it possible that we see him dropped for the next one. I see it possible. But yeah, it's tough. Chris Lennox says, you can hate Jackson all you want. He wasn't the reason we lost. How can they give Corey so much space? Corey, City, I assume. They are reeling from the PSG disaster and 1-0 down. I don't know, man. I mean, the whole space thing is we obviously try to press them because if you give City too much time and too much space, they kill you that way. Now, maybe at the moment, no. And maybe a bit of a problem for Maresca today was that he knows City at their best and prepared for City at their best and not for City not at their worst. It looks like the constant grandpa. It easily could do. It easily could do. And I'm not going to be surprised if this costs Maresca his, opinion within the fan base as well. We'll see how that one goes. But there you go. And purely because he loves defending Robert Sanchez and he knows he makes mistakes. Well, how about you stop playing him then? I'm giving it to Robert Sanchez. Now, before the game started, when I purely saw the 11, I was like, this is probably the best 11 we have available. Now, people can say Neto over Madueke. Maybe, maybe not. I think defensively, Neto is better. Offensively, Neto is worse. But otherwise, obviously, Enzo's fitness being a question mark, I think this is the best team we can come out with at the moment. It really is. I couldn't read. I was like, hold up. Why do I have Cucurella as left centre-back? It isn't. It's Cobel. As for Maresca, I mean, he made a sub. A lot of people were unhappy with Jackson, rightly so, up until that point. I think he should have tried something at halftime. I think the second half of the first half was so bad that we should have tried something, even if it was just switching certain positions. Maybe Enzo and Caicedo. Maybe, Palmer and Enzo, and then Caicedo in kind of as a result. My goodness. Maybe Reece James and Cucurella. Maybe make it more clear which one's supposed to be in midfield, which one's supposed to be in attack. Why have I got the hiccups? A stream on my own with hiccups is a disaster. Bloody hell. Thankfully, we're nearly done. Please excuse that, guys. Not much I can do. Enzo Maresca, what can I say? What can I do? I don't know. All I can say is that I'm sad and that I'm depressed about it, and it makes me angry. I'm going to give him like a 3. But honestly, this is a difficult one for the manager. It's one of those, like, if you think back to the times when I had more guests on the channel and in our post-match streams, which maybe I'll go back to. Let me know if you're watching this later on or now in the chat as well. Would you prefer it with guests again? Do you prefer it on my own? Be interesting to know what everybody thinks. But all I can say is that I don't really know. It's like one of those for Maresca. It's like I could give him anything between a 2 and a 5. And all of that would be somewhat warranted. So I'll just give him a 3 and leave it at that. And just be frustrated. Just be frustrated because we are now back not in the top 4. We are now 6th in the Premier League table. Sure, only 1 point off 4th and 1 point behind Newcastle, 1 point behind Man City. And at least Forest lost. So I guess they didn't extend that gap. So we're only 4 points off them. But we're a big gap already behind Liverpool now. 13 points. It wasn't that much not long ago, was it? I'm sad, man. It's really sad. I mean, everybody's talking about how alarmingly poor it was. Maybe this is a good point to finish it on. Maybe this is a good point to show everybody how bad things are at the moment. Robert Sanchez positioning turned a chance worth 0.0 xg into a chance 0.42 xg. And that kind of tells you everything you need to know. Where is Robert Sanchez? I mean, I don't know why Thingy's on the floor. Chalobah, to be honest, that wasn't great for him. But allowing this position to ever happen is an absolute disgrace. Neto, Cobel, Chalobah out, Garnacho in. Brilliant. Imagine Poch has this squad. I think he would do a better job. I disagree with this. I will never back Poch long term. Like there was no significant more improvement to come from Poch. Poch was going to be like we were last season and a slight improvement from there. If anything, it would start to go downhill. With Maresca, it's different kind of manager. It's like with Robert Sanchez, with Maurizio Sarri in 2018. You start well, then you have a rough patch around Christmas into January, February, maybe even March. And then you set yourself, and then you start seeing the fruits of your labor. And then you start being better and better and better. And then if we would have had it, the second season should be a big step. Even though there's often second season syndromes, I think the way these kind of managers work, I think that works or less so. But we don't know for sure. But Sanchez will start next game, probably. We had good second half last season. We did, but not from January onward, mind you. Like, no. We were not good from January onwards. We were just good at the very end of the season. Like the last 10, 15. To be fair, we're entering 15 realm now, but there you go. Obviously, the season started a bit earlier last year because there was no Euros in the summer. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna have to end this here. It's frustrating. It makes me sad. Why Sarri left Chelsea? I don't remember. Well, he was asked to go to Juve, and he says himself, in hindsight, it was a mistake that he accepted. But I think Chelsea probably would have sacked him anyway, even if he hadn't gotten that offer from Juve. But we will never have confirmation of that. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in today. I appreciate you all. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't done that yet. Hit the like button on your way out. That would be very much appreciated. I really would appreciate that. We've got to 66 likes, so thank you very much. Well, we finished this season. I'm going to say, I kind of want to still say 4th, but it might well be 5th. Might well be 5th. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea, upwards and onwards, and I will see you next time.